Good morning, everybody. Good evening. Well, I'm in Zek. I'm in Pengu. Been a
and
pleasant
I'm in
weekend.
and I'm in pain.
No, not at all. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, no, I'm in profit with both of them. Very
Yeah,
nice.
we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about those. Yeah, we'll have a bunch of stuff to talk about. Market looks interesting, very interesting. However, keep yeah, I'm still, very, very iffy. There's a bunch of things that could happen this week, so we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, market
Mm. I mean,
picking up, man.
it is exciting. And like when you go through the various levels, there seems to be a lot of weight above us. Like when we
Hmm.
get to sort of 81 around that region, like can we overshoot that? Maybe, but I mean, this isn't the start of, to like, I would still say that this is relief inside a macro down, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But fair play to you, man. You sniff these trades out.
There's a bunch of stuff. Obviously, it's a difficult thing playing the long term on these sort of environments. You know what I mean? Like, it's a
Hmm.
lot of good opportunities in the scalping side of things, or not scalping. Like, I want to define what is scalping. For some people, scalping is 1 minute chart, like
Hmm.
seconds. For some people, scalping is 30 minutes, holds or
Hmm.
1 hour. For some people, scalp is like a 4 hour and then just take a small chunk. So that's another thing that be aware of what is the definition of scalping for you, right? If you ever do that or short-term trading means scalping, short, you know what I mean? Like it's so many different things
Hmm.
that you need to
What are your
clarify. So
rules, your definition? Yeah.
exactly. So sometimes when I say scalp, it's like hold less than a day. You know what I mean? Like that's I don't do like 1 hour, like 1 minute, 5 minute stuff. You could very profitable trades like that, but you have to be glued to charts like that if you do that. So that being said, what do you think about Bitcoin? What are your thoughts, man?
Well, you know me, Maurizio. I'm a professional technical analyst thing. So I looked at that big double bottom W that's printed on the weekly chart.
Yep.
And I did that one-to-one measured move bullshit, and
Yep.
that puts us around the 80. So just everywhere I'm looking, fucking, there is a ceiling of some kind, a
Yep.
measured move. Whether you believe in it or not, it kind of finishes around there. A lot of the MAs or EMAs or SMAs that you're looking at, they're hanging heavy kind of around that region. So everything seems kind of cool, right? But to me, this is the type of time where people get fucked because they
Yep.
think we're back on. And I don't
Yep.
think that at all. I think that you are clever enough to sniff opportunities out like you have done. So it's an interesting time in the market. Like to me, there's opportunities because I think there's
Yes.
going to be a lot of people that are just, yeah, it's fucking on, boys. It's on, and I don't think it is. I think when this war ends, right,
Yep.
all the people that have hedged in crypto because their fiat was no good, they've got to make a decision as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
think there's a lot of wartime money in crypto from people that are like, our fucking currency's fucked, or put it in Bitcoin.
Mm. Mm.
Now that's obviously bro science, but there's a lot of fundamental type of stuff that's occurring. So yeah, I am excited, but with a ridiculous amount of caution slapped onto that excitement.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Right? Obviously, everything could change, could shift, could be the bottom. I
Could be.
don't feel could be right. Like everything is could be. You know what I mean? Like I cannot actually say, oh, this is the bottom, or this is on, or we're going to retrace, or this. We just go by probabilities, and unfortunately, we have to do it on a day by day basis. Things change so rapidly in this market right now, man. Especially with the geopolitical stuff, things could shift tomorrow, and next day it will shift again, and the next day
Mm.
will shift again until Yeah, liquidity is basically grab. So yeah, I'm kind of feel the same way. Let me go through the stuff and
Good,
let me
good
see
on.
what we're thinking. So before we start, how do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about crypto? Well, by the way, I hope you guys had a great weekend and don't be shy. All right, just before I start mumbling, how do you guys feel? You feel bullish? You feel bearish? You feel about crypto? You feel did you manage to get into the trades? Uh, if not, all right. So, by the way, we did have a little bit of an issue with automation last week. Everything should be resolved, so you should be getting the alerts as regular. My apologies. We the last couple of trades, you're always going to get the mighty network. So that's the bulletproof one, right? The emails and SMS were failing, so yeah, we solved that. Hopefully, we'll you know you'll get everything. Everything should be working as regular. Also, the log, because we're fixing the automation, I will basically add those manually this week. But yeah, all right. So let's jump on what. Let's jump on charts. Let's have a look. All right. It's a bunch of things that I want to talk about today because the market, yeah. Let's start from the weekly, right? This is Bitcoin. Okay. Um, Give me your thoughts in terms of Bitcoin. Where do you think where we at the moment with Bitcoin? Do you think, like we just mentioned with Ian, is this the bottom? Is this a bear trap, a bull trap, a short squeeze? What do you guys think? Like, what do you see? I just wanna, hear your thoughts. Jim, I'll ask you for days. All right, in 4 days I will ask you. Why 4 days? Because the FOMC, that's one thing that we're gonna talk about today. Is that because of that? Ethereum apparently froze 304. All right, I didn't know that. Okay. Jim, 1st of May. Okay, yes, I kind of agree. But it's one of those things. Let me go through what I see. Craig EOM. I don't know what that means. All right, let's jump on what I'm saying. All right, let's start from the end of month. Yeah, all right. Yeah, got it. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Obviously, we approaching to the end of month, and also we have FOMC. Okay. So I'm very cautious with the trades that we took. But I want to add some risk on some of them. So let's start with Bitcoin. Okay. So from the weekly perspective, the weekly is closing very, it is, you can actually see that it stops right on the same level that we had on April, right? So it's funny how these levels actually work, right? It basically, that's where the main liquidity is. So either is this, you know, resistance, put it from that perspective, and then it starts bringing it down again, like moving the same structure. That could be one option. Or, if we get a lot of shorts piling up here, then that's the opportunity for a short squeeze happening, which is basically what I'm aiming for on Friday. I did talk about it on Friday, right? And why do I think that? Okay, so why do I think that? So obviously everything is pointing to that direction. Okay, so there is a lot of shorts that are being squeezed, and let's talk a little bit about the dynamics on that. I could be completely wrong, and things could revert here dramatically, and then we retest the 60. That's not a problem. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Take the stop loss or whatever, and then I'm gonna be reloading at 60. If that's the case. But let me give you my my thoughts. All right, let's bring it down to the daily, right? So from the daily perspective, right, I'm seeing a lot of strength. Would you agree? Or you don't? Perfect. So I'm seeing a lot of strength, right? Like you can definitely see that even though on any the pullbacks are shallow, very shallow, right? There's hardly any pullbacks. There was like in, even on over the weekend, uh the liquidity is low. It did not manage to actually sell off, right? The biggest sold off happened on last Sunday, right? So this week is very, very strong. What are the drivers of this? Obviously, the geopolitical things that we have no timeline anymore, right? We have no timeline in terms of before we have a deadline, right? Like, Trump said, oh yeah, Wednesday, whatever. And now we don't have a deadline. So market is open to do whatever the price action is giving us in a way, right? Now, from that perspective, I'm seeing strength. That's definitely a fact. You cannot actually deny it. Now, the next question is, where is that strength coming from, right? The strength, well, we have to ask ourselves, even though it looks fucking horrible to buy at this level because I feel awful buying, the strength is there. I cannot deny it. And why I cannot deny it? If we go and have a look at our CVD indicators, right? Like which is the volume, the story that this is presenting. Um, it looks bloody strong, man. Like it looks really freaking strong. You can actually see that is demand from spot to buy at these levels. It is, you know what I mean? Like you can actually see that the next influx of the spot started on the 24 at these levels at 77,000. So that's significant in a way that you can say there is demand from institutions to buy at these levels. Okay. Whenever I see this, I can, you know what I mean? Like, I can't actually deny it unless, this massive sell off. I see that the market is quite supportive, right? Obviously, that's why there is this a lot of short squeezes. So people that actually think that we are going lower, this is a very good level to short. Like it's very attractive. I'll be shorting this, right? Uh, if I don't believe in Bitcoin, or I don't believe that the market is going to move, and I believe that the market is going to go to shit. These are the perfect level to short at, right? So from that perspective, I'm seeing a lot of liquidity coming through, and it looks like the bulls are winning. Okay. Can this shift in an hour? Yes, it could, right? But until I don't know what's going to happen in the next hour. I don't know what's going to happen in the next day. I don't know what's going to happen in the next month. I can only make my decisions for what I'm seeing currently. Period. Right? Would you agree, or not really? Perfect. So that's kind of what I want you to think about, because obviously, um, sometimes you can see, oh, I should have done this, I should have bought, I should have sold, I should have, and that always that's on my mind as well, to be honest, at some point. But you can only make the decision of what you see on screen, period, right? So you have to assess what's the best story to do. Yes, Jason, that's a really good trade what you see, know what you want to see. Exactly. And here's another one: trade what you see and know what you think you're seeing. You know what I mean? It's tough, man. It's that's why that's why it's discretionary in that perspective. Everybody has a different way to see things. Um, Even though, like me and my wife, we talk about the same thing, and we have different meanings, different perceptions, different things. So that's the thing, right? So what we tend to try to do, because we make an attempt, right, is to always follow what the institutions are following. That's the biggest money. You know what I mean? Like, because if we don't have strength on the spot volume, right, is going to be, markets are going to be very choppy. There's going to be hunts for liquidity to the top, to the bottom, very good to scalp from that perspective, right? Like if you, that's a different way of trading, which, there are ways to do that. But for the time being, we're trying to get in position. So from that perspective, I think there is a really, the market is well supported, right? And even though it feels off, right? And why it feels off? Okay, let me tell you what is going through my mind. So first of all, if I look at the S&P 500, fuck, S&P 500 is ripping. Then, like, at some point we're going to have a turnaround, right? But when is that going to happen? Is that going to happen prior FOMC, prior but so it's been tough to short the market, and this is great opportunities to short, and this is also great opportunities to pull together liquidity. Okay, so from that perspective, I'm seeing strength, right? The risk, the Russell, this is kind of another gauge that you guys know I watch. That is the Russell, which is the kind of the risk side of things of the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 is the less risky. The Russell is more risky, and Bitcoin will follow that. So Bitcoin is a risk asset, right? So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Another one that I'm following through very closely is the dominance. You guys know that. And the dominance now, the USDT and USDC dominance is looking pretty solid in terms of, I want to see this break the structure. So it's kind of breaking the structure at the moment, and this is from the daily perspective. So what that means is that capital is going to flow into assets. We don't know which asset, by the way, right? But if we start seeing alts performing on this drop, then you can actually see that risk is on. Okay, so yeah, those are the things that add into my story. Should I buy? Should I sell? And the last one, IBIT. Okay, so IBIT is, guys, I drew this. Okay, I think it's in February, right? And now, this is the biggest sort of price action that is giving me sort of the impulse to start buying, right? I'm still cautious in terms of risk, but you can actually see gaps, right? Gaps to the upside, and gaps to the upside on IBIT. That's really interesting, right? That means that they're spot buyers, they're ETF inflows, right? Then you get another gap right here, then you get another gap right here, and that gap is holding, right? So can we fill those gaps at the moment? Yes, but so far it's just strength, right? In that regard. So it adds into, yeah, Todd, thank you. So IBIT holds around 3.8 of BTC supply. So it's an interesting sort of price action to follow in terms of if we're going to have continuation, right? So with that being said, right, this is the things that I like. What I don't like, because not everything is great. What I don't like, I don't like that oil, right, is back on track. I don't like this, and I don't like that the geopolitical stuff hasn't been resolved yet. So this is what I don't like. However, it's being managed not to break above 100. 100 is a very, like any, think about it from the psychological levels, right? You have 100, you have 90, you have 80, you have 110, 120, right? So 100 is been an interesting level that is being sort of, you have this deviation here, and now you can actually see, I don't know if you guys study patterns or not. patterns are interesting. You can actually see this. It could look like a head and shoulder, or and is you can actually see the pattern forming right there. If I don't trust patterns, I just trust in terms of how the market is movement. So think about from and think about the psychology of the head and shoulders pattern. And that's what I'm trying to sort of always figure out in terms of what the psychology. And a friend of mine, really good trader, told me this. Always think about if people bought here, right, oil, at some point they're going to say, fuck, all right, they took profits, right? So there's still people that actually haven't taken any profits. And a head and shoulder sort of pattern develops when these guys here say, I think this is a really good time to start taking profits. And then, things start sort of getting lower and lower and lower until you get to the point that the breakout happened, right? And that's how our head and shoulder psychology. One of them, like I really like it, right? It makes sense, right? It makes sense to me. So I always go by that analogy in a way, right? So this is the only kind of iffy situation, right? So if if I'm seeing, that 100 start breaking, this is kind of going to be the same. This could continue or at least retest those highs right there, right? This is an interesting sort of, but it looks for a good retracement there. If this retrace, then probably going to have continuation of markets. So I'm still following very closely, this here, which I've been telling you guys for a while, right? So yeah, that's basically the whole thing, man. Like I have nothing else. Just I like it. I like the market so far. So that's why we decided to actually go into different trades. Let's go through those trades. So let's talk about INA. I haven't done anything with INA. I haven't taken any profits. It's interesting that the market hasn't retraced fully. So what that means, what I like, let me talk about INA. And I'm thinking about adding, to be honest. And unfortunately, I missed a bunch of trades that I wanted to take. I don't miss, but it's one of those things that you have to manage the risk. And if you go into everything at the same time, and the market turns around, we're fucked, right? Kind of in a way. So INA, I'm seeing a lot of front running these levels here. You can actually see that the market not even, so it's not front running this level, but it's front running this. You can actually see it. So this is kind of my line of the sand to where is my square? Right here. Right here. You can actually see. You can actually see, like, from the daily perspective, you can actually see that people are front running these levels. You know what I mean? Like, you have buying power there. That's my reasoning why I'm gonna hold. I'm still holding this. I'm thinking of buying more if the problem of buying more right now is we have end of the month. And you know what do I feel about end of the month? So if I buy more, right, it's going to be a very short term trade in a way that I want to get some profits, move the stop loss unprotected, right? From that perspective, if we do that on Monday or Tuesday before the end of the month, right? And before FOMC is going to get fucking nuts, especially with the geopolitical stuff, right? So ideally, I want to protect these trades as soon as possible, okay? So things that I'm watching. So let's go through the trades that we took. So we took SEC. So SEC is I wanted to take it closer to that level. We took it around here, still well profitable, right? Should I move the stop loss? Not really, because you could get the volatility happening. But if I'm getting so with SEC, I'm going to be very cautious, right? SEC looks pretty freaking good from the long-term perspective. We are sort of reclaiming that trend, right? But Bitcoin is not. So let me just, all right. So Bitcoin sort of in the big picture, we're still bearish, right? So it's going to take a lot of volume to drive it, but the volume is coming from the CBD. Have that in mind. So it looks that probably we could, right? So we do have our probability that we could, right? So yes, Todd, that's why I took INA. Okay. USD is still very like TVL is going strong, is being used, all that sort of stuff. So that's one of the fundamentals why I think INA could at least give us that push up. You know what I mean? And so that could be. Is that going to have continuation? Who the fuck knows? But on sort of think about it from the perspective that we front running the entries, right? In a way, can we wait until we break? Yes, we could, right? But you have to be very fast sometimes in order to have to catch those breakouts, right? So so that's one of the reasoning why we took in a last week. So if we have this breakout, I see Bitcoin definitely coming back at least towards 85 or this level here, right? If that happens, a lot of people are going to be, ah, fuck, right now, it's time to buy. And that's when we're going to cash out and protect our trades. And whatever happens is going to happen, right? So that's where I'm at. Okay. So SEC still iffy, but I'm going to be cashing out a little bit here, at least 30%, and start protecting some stuff, right? The one that I wanna, so once we start protecting, then you can start adding more. Okay. You could add more now if you want, aiming, but if everything fails, right, that's fine. I'm not, it took a couple trades, but then I'm not fully completely in risk, right? You can always get it back and pull back when things are better. Okay. Pengu's working well, man. So Pengu, why we went into Pengu? Uh, if we go to our spaghetti charts, when things starts going better, like this is a really good gauge as well, which is our meme index in a way. You can actually see that Pengu is right on top. So I'm seeing a lot of NFTs coming back, Ape, all that shit, sort of, and Pengu sort of is a meme, but it's an NFT, but it's a real business. It's an interesting. This has a lot of has a lot of community behind it. So I think the fact that why I'm not going into Sats or Boom or Peanut or Man or Dog, because there is a lot of things that goes with Pengu. You know what I mean? That goes into only a meme coin. However, the fact that all memes are sort of performing, right? That gives me a really good uh, idea of getting position on that one. That's kind of the only one that I want to add more. So to be honest, so we are approaching this level of liquidity right here, as you can actually see here. All right. So Marlon Retardio, I have no idea. I haven't done much on Retardio, to be honest. It might come back. I think when liquidity comes back, there is a lot of people driving Retardio that it could actually make it happen. For the time being, the problem with crypto is you can actually you guys seen this year and year. When you hold there's only a few things that actually survive, right? The hype. And if it's nothing more exciting than Retardio, then Retardio will come back. If there is stuff more exciting than Retardio, which I'm going to show you a few risky plays that it could be, then capital will flow there. It's an attention thing. You know what I mean? So if Retardio does something amazing, great, could come back, definitely will come back. But that's a meme. That's what it is. Unfortunately, it is an attention taking. So that's kind of my mental model of thinking about memes and shit like that, right? So where were we? Where are we? Pengu. Okay, Pengu. Uh, we are on the breakout level. Okay, so I'm on profit. we are on profit, right? But this is very volatile, by the way. Okay, so yeah, I think that's the only thing that we can do. Just pray, to be honest. That's why we take profits on that one. That's why you take profits. Don't sell on whatever happens, happens, right? Like that becomes the, the future of finance. Great, yeah. Uh, so same thing with Pengu. All right. Here's the thoughts on this one. I'm thinking of adding more, right? So we have this risk right here. You can add more, right? Let's see how this one behaves. And you can add another chunk with either a stop loss, right? Very tight stop loss. So if this shit goes bad, you're only basically risking. There's two options here that I'm thinking. You basically risking this, and then you put the stop loss right here, right? So essentially you lose a little bit of money. But if this one works, then you have sort of a double size that you could actually just take some profits around here. That's my main profit taking, the first chunk, big chunk that I could take. So this is a risky environment to trade because you could get stopped out and and maybe it will, but that could be an interesting trade that I'm thinking, right? So that's, oh shit, sorry. So this is one that I'm thinking to perhaps get. Obviously, it could get really risky, or you can just hold that one, right? And take some profits right here, move the stop loss, and then yeah, that's the easiest way. But yeah, this is something that I'm thinking. So if you see a second trade coming through, be aware that that's a risky shit. Okay, don't, you know what I mean? Like if you haven't taken any profits before on different trades that we took, probably just move the stop loss and happy days. If this one works out, great. But this one is moving pretty good. It's pretty good. It's moving well, and it has a lot of things. So that's kind of what did I miss? I miss Arrow. So this is the trade that I was going to take. Arrow is very resilient. I'm still thinking on getting it, but the fact that we still have too many, then I'm still thinking, just be careful in terms of the size, right? I can go on Arrow, but then I don't know how much size you guys are using. But this one is the one that I like. I like Monad still, right? Monad looks pretty interesting. It's being front run here, so that could be an. I was actually looking for this level, to be honest, but if market picks up, right, bang, I think this one will have continuation. So I think this is the perfect retrace. So I really like that one. I still like my fucking VVV. Fucking VVV, man, it's giving me shits anyway. Right, Tau. Okay, Tau, I want to add more. It's looking pretty okay. I think Tau could have a second run, right? Even though something happened in the protocol, and then that's why we had this drop. Still, guys, we're still holding, I think, a percentage of the position that we have. So, but I want to add more. Trade it as a brand new trade, right? It's looking that it's being accumulated. You can actually see. So as long Bitcoin holds, Bitcoin doesn't even need to break, but if it breaks, everything's gonna go nuts. If it holds, right, I think alts are going to start waking up a little bit. What's the downside? FOMC. FOMC. Yeah, Todd, man, do it. I know, VVV, man. A lot of, and I'll definitely buy the scalp the shit out of it on every pullback, to be honest. Anyway, so having a close eye on Ethereum. So Ethereum looks pretty good as well. And Ethereum, if we break, I think everything. ADA is gonna go nuts. Let me just if so far, if we from the beginning of the month, right? So from the beginning of the month, Ethereum started outperforming Bitcoin from the beginning. From the beginning of March, right? So from the beginning of April, right? Not yet, right? So this is one of the things about the the spaghetti charts that it looks is discretionary as well, right? Depends on what you're looking at. But if you're thinking from the perspective from the month to month, right? From April, we're getting back there, right? And if that's the case, you start seeing which ones are the performance. So RB, R, LDO, SSB. SSB is very crappy. This one is very crappy. Crappy. ENA is right there. So those are my favorites, to be honest. ARP, LDO, and ENA, right? But the problem with LDO is on any fucking drop of Ethereum, that thing will dump. Okay, same thing as ENA anyway. So all these things are the same shit. Anyway, so that's kind of what I have. So in terms of more risky assets, something or something interesting that I want to share with you as well. I don't know. Still holding KLIT, right? And KLIT just announced. I'll put this in the link. If you're holding KLIT, I'm still holding it, and this is something that I was waiting to see how they're going to do the tokenomics, because they're raising more money, they're doing interesting things, and it looks like it's going to be a net drop. So I'm following that up. I'll let you guys know. So far, I don't know. I'm still holding it. I don't want to add more, but I kind of like what I see here. Go through it if you hold KLIT. If you want to go down the risk aspect, I'm looking at cards. So cards is an interesting project, right? It's catching out now. They're doing an upgrade, and this thing went nuts. And what they do is basically Pokemon cards. You can send them your Pokemon cards, and now through blockchain you can actually trade them, sell them, but they hold the physical card in a vault. So it's an interesting thing, right? It's an interesting. I'm thinking about, like, for the last couple of days, it's been kind of on the breakout, and if that's the breakout, like, it might catch up a bit, at least towards here. Obviously, this is on-chain stuff, very risky, but it does have a really good 100 something percent. So risk reward is there. I'm also looking at this one. I don't know if you guys saw about Asteroid. Have you guys heard about this one? So this one, apparently, one little girl actually wrote to Elon Musk about making this this one right here. I don't know how true this shit, but if you get into Asteroid, just this is a gamble, man. This is a gamble. So don't go to to this could actually go to the moon, whatever, for Shiba in space. It has the narrative. If liquidity comes in, I think this could catch a bit, right? But this is the type of shit that makes money in a way, right? Like, this most stupid stuff is the one that actually catches the beat. And I wouldn't mind, risking something. I don't mind if I lose it or not. This could go to zero, by the way. But this is very risky. Less risky cards from the perspective there is a real business behind it. Less risky KLIT. It might take longer, but but then those basically are the ones that I'm watching. So yeah.
Well, what a comprehensive overview of everything, man. It's don't know, feels different. Like a couple of weeks ago, it was all like,
Yep.
yeah, we're going down. Then it's like, oh, now we just seem to be wasting time. Now it's like, oh, there's a few trades that are sniffing around. But I think the key thing that I've taken from here is, does Bitcoin kick on? Because that's
Mm-hmm.
the drag is the wrong word, but that's what kind of starts everybody else's engines, doesn't it? So there's
Yeah.
a lot of things that you've served up for us, but there's a lot of kind of immense probability if you coulda, woulda, shoulda look at the and that's the only thing we can do is learn to get comfortable in
Correct.
that gray area spectrum. Like at first it might sound almost dismissive when me and you sort of go, I don't know.
I know.
But it's
I,
like that is the truth. It's like there's this evidence, this evidence, this evidence. It's not
yep.
definitive, and we've got to sit here just thinking that we could be wrong and we could get stopped out, and this one could go to zero, or we might do all right. And it's our risk management and our position sizing
Mm,
that allows us to, because you keep such a tight stop on these things that when we've taken profit, or even if we don't take profit, like there'll be enough trades that will do 1.5, 2 R that will make up for all of those really tight stops that we've had along the way where we're like, look, we're balancing on a ledge here,
yep. Yep.
and if we
And
fall, we've got a safety net.
exactly. And I think for we organizing this to make the alerts a little bit more active, and in a couple of weeks we'll start sort of doing a little bit more like tighter stops. But bear in mind, you let me know. You guys have to understand this. You're gonna be a lot of stop outs, but a lot of good ones are going to trade. You know what I mean? Think about it from any perspective or any strategy. Anything that has 40% winning rate with a really good risk reward ratio is a fucking great strategy. So you're 60% wrong. You're not 40% right. You have to
Mm,
be okay with the 60% that you're gonna be wrong. Okay. And
yeah, yeah.
if so, think about it from that perspective. A lot of people think, oh fuck, it's gonna be 40% right. No, your mind is gonna be fucked on the 60% wrong.
Yeah.
So that's yeah.
These numbers themselves, man, it's like I've had to improve my mathematics so fucking much, right? I
Yeah,
truly have, if you know what I
yeah,
mean. And so two examples are I use poker, right? I've
yep,
got aces, you've got kings, right?
yep,
80% of the time I should win that. So one of
yep.
the things that a skill that I didn't have was really looking at that 20% and thinking, that's quite significant. Because I'd look at that 20% and I'd be like, that's fuck all. I've got 80%. I'm always going to win, and you have enough times where those aces don't win that you start, monkey see, monkey do. Fucking hell, this comes around a bit more often than I thought. Yeah, I mean, and then you start to get to actually like saying things like, and I'm jumping about a bit, oh, it's 3-1, it's 2-1, and stuff like this. Having a deeper understanding of that risk can really just relax you. And then you said that somebody had said something to you about the psychology. Now, my poker coach said something to me, right? And I didn't listen to this for years. I just dismissed it. This is nonsense, if you know what I mean. But he
Mm,
said to me, he says, here's how you even out poker so that it feels fair and you survive in the volatility. The same aces and kings, you've got an 80%
mm-hmm.
chance. Okay. So when you do win the pot, you need to start thinking to yourself, I just got lucky by 20%. I was only
Yep,
entitled to 80% of that pot, but I have
yep,
just won a bonus 20% that I am not entitled to.
yeah,
And when you
yeah,
start thinking like that, that you suddenly move from these numbers being automatic to, oh, this is a bit of a warning sign, this one, to, here's how mentally I can start to control the volatility just by simply thinking differently about the numbers themselves, but without math, if you know what I mean. And I
yep.
found developing those two skills was as really,
I just thought about a game in terms of risk. Think about it from the perspective. Imagine that you have like a punch that you
Mhm.
can adjust the strength of the punch. Okay, and you put your face in front of that, right? And you have that punch all the way up, crank it up, right? And make you hit 60 times out of 100, and that's the 60%, right?
Yeah.
By the time that you have a winning trade, you're going to have no energy.
Hmm.
Think about it from that perspective. crank it down. You have the 60%. Get now you say, "Ah, fuck, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get it." So you can punch back. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Like I just thought
mm,
about that
mm.
analogy. You know,
Damn,
same thing with risk,
beautiful,
man. Same thing with
beautiful,
risk. Yeah.
beautiful. Well, with
All right,
that
guys.
freaking compressed wisdom done, see you next week. Thanks,
Have a good one.
Maurizio. Ta-da.
See ya. Bye bye.